Mahtani is there. He's Deputy Director for the Africa Programme at the International Crisis Group. Dino, thank you so much indeed for your time. Can you just give us an analysis of how we got to this point? How has a political deadlock between Abiy Ahmed, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, and the region of Tigray become what looks now like an all-out war?
Yes, thanks for having me. Political tensions have been ramping up for months between the federal government, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, and the leadership of the Tigray People's Liberation Front. This was the regional government, the party that was once at the helm of a former ruling coalition that Abiy has dissolved since taking power in 2018 in the wake of nationwide protests against that ruling coalition and against the leadership of that ruling coalition, which was at the time the TPLF was the most important, most powerful party within that coalition, effectively. So in the months leading up to this point, Abiy postponed elections due to the COVID-19 pandemic. That took Ethiopia past, or the current government past its constitutional term limit. Then the Tigray government, in trying to assert its own regional autonomy or to set a precedent that it could continue operating as an autonomous region, held its own election. That was deemed unacceptable by the federal authorities, who then started cutting financial subsidies to the region, and then quickly escalation to war. But all the last few months, it's clear that both sides were gearing up militarily as well.
So I'm guessing you don't think there's any real justification for Abiy Ahmed's statement that he was forced into launching this military operation. I mean, this is a man who won the Nobel Peace Prize for making peace with another country, and he can't sort out peace in his own.
Well, it is true that the TPLF attacked first. That has given the federal authorities the opening, the legitimacy to say that as a sovereign entity, they must put this rebellion down. On the other hand, his critics would say that he's allowed political tensions in Ethiopia to rise, and that every step of the way towards this conflict, when there may have been a way to de-escalate, Abiy has met TPLF resistance or TPLF political provocation with met fire with fire, essentially, on the political stage, and we've got to this point.
How real is the danger, or are we already there, of the conflagration spreading beyond Ethiopia?
Well, I mean, this is clearly already an internationalized war. The TPLF have attacked their arch enemies, the government of Eritrea, saying that they have launched missiles in the last few days against the capital city, while also doing the same into the Amhara region of northern Ethiopia, so therefore fighting on two fronts. Now the key question is what's going to happen in Sudan, in eastern Sudan, where refugees are also spilling over into that part of the country. And Tigray and Eritrea both have relationships with nomadic communities on that side of the border who they may try and instrumentalize now as in the context where the official Sudanese government position is to close that border to stop this insurgency. But at the same time, there are Sudanese constituents on the ground that are working to ensure that Tigray can still bring in basic goods, supplies through eastern Sudan, coming from Port of Sudan on the Red Sea.
Dino, where's the potential resolution then?
Well, we've always said that this has got to end up in dialogue, not just between Addis Ababa and the regional forces of Tigray or the TPLF, but a full national dialogue, because this is just one part of a multidimensional crisis. There are other conflicts that are burning across Ethiopia. There is, of course, the Oromia region from where Abiy himself hails, of central Ethiopia. That's the most populous region of the country, where protesters, mass protests erupted a few years ago that swept Abiy into power, and yet in that region, he faces a huge groundswell of political opposition and even another armed insurgency on the ground. And that's just one of many inter-ethnic conflicts that are also, that's to add rather to the other inter-ethnic conflicts that are also unfolding in the country. So this requires a comprehensive ceasefire between the two parties, but then also a full and inclusive national dialogue to reset Ethiopia's foundering transition.
Dino Mahtani from the International Crisis Group, thank you so much indeed for the analysis, Dino.